Oh, hi everyone. This is Babo here, and I would like to give you my 10 tips each on the do's and don'ts when it comes to showcasing comedy. And I'm sure you all know what comedy is, but it can be controversial if you don't joke responsibly or rightfully, even though it's all about silliness and stupidness. And with that being said, here are 20 tips, 10 of them are do's, and 10 of them are don'ts. Number 1, do come up with any joke that would be considered funny, but don't come up with jokes that are considered unfunny, and that includes tragic events and serious things that are bad in real life. Like, I don't care if it's any joke about a controversial topic that very few of you may think is funny, just don't make fun of or come up with jokes that are sensitive topics. Tip number 2, do come up with different jokes every time you make a joke, and don't overuse the same joke once you've made the joke. And this is a very common problem in the comedy industry these days that not a lot of people understand. Tip number 3, do come up with the punchline as a conclusion of a joke. And when we say punchline, don't punch anybody or anything, because punchline does not mean punching. Tip number 4, do make the joke funny for people to understand, but don't make a joke that wouldn't make any sense and that people would not understand. Just make it clear for everybody to understand. Tip number 5, do act funny and hilarious when you're telling a joke. That'll make it better. But don't be serious when you're telling a joke. You gotta be more comedic than being serious. I mean, it sounds cliche, but it's true. Tip number 6, do handle criticism when it comes to telling jokes or being a comedian, because not everybody is going to appreciate your jokes. But when it comes to telling jokes as a professional comedian, you have to understand and accept the criticism you receive, whether it's constructive or destructive. Unless you're being sarcastic or joking about your poor handling of criticism, do not harass people for not understanding your joke. I mean, you can act like you despise your hater, but don't be serious about harassing them of any kind. If they don't like it, then you can back away from them. Tip number 7, do act silly or even like your average class clown when you're joking, which also includes your facial expressions and body language, and people can tell by how they read you whenever you make a joke or be comedic about something. And when it comes to funny characters, most of them are not supposed to have remorse of any negative actions that they take like everybody should. Just don't be an actual clown to the point where you do stupid things that could lead you into trouble. And this is why you should always joke responsibly. So again, don't be like someone that does something actually stupid and that will have no remorse for it. Just remember, there is a difference between the comedy world that you see in person, movies, and TV, and reality. Tip number 8, do use objects or gestures to illustrate your joke, but it doesn't have to be entirely physical for every single joke, because jokes can be verbal in some cases. Just don't use them to literally harm or offend anyone. Tip number 9, do consider the target audience for your jokes. If it's a joke for kids, make it appropriate for their age. And if it's a joke for adults, make it appropriate for them. But just don't make it an opposite, because if you tell an adult joke to kids, whether they understand it or not, it could lead kids telling the exact same joke that's inappropriate for them, and that would be embarrassing. And if you tell a children's joke to adults, and if they don't find it funny, you can tell them that, but I would be careful with that, because not everyone will appreciate it, whether it's appropriate or not. Now, I'm not gonna lie, but some will find it funny, depending on the context of the joke. And last but not least, tip number 10, do have fun being comedic and making jokes whenever you want, only if you enjoy doing so. But if you don't enjoy being comedic or telling jokes, and if comedy isn't something you want to do in your life, don't do them if you don't want to. And like what people say, you don't have to be comedic or tell jokes if you don't want to do so at all. You know, honestly, I enjoy being funny and I like being silly or stupid, even though I'm not really stupid, but I only bang the walls with my hammer just for fun. Like, just watch. Babo, could you please stop? You're gonna give yourself a headache. Oh, sorry. But yeah, those are all the tips I have for you guys about the 10 do's, 10 don'ts about comedy. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see your ass later. Till then, this is Babo saying, sayonara.